We have a crisis in the world, tremendous crisis, and also crisis in our consciousness, in us. I see the urgency of change, radical revolution, mutation in the mind. I see it. It is necessary. There is complete quietness of the mind, and that which is silent has vast space. Only then that which is nameless comes into being.
This is Urgency of Change, the Krishnamurti podcast. Your mind is chattering, and your mind is you. When you see the actual truth that you and the chattering are one, all your effort to change it comes to an end. Then, what takes place? Hello and welcome to episode 237 of Urgency of Change. Each episode of the Krishnamurti podcast features carefully selected extracts from the archives. The aim is to represent different aspects of Krishnamurti's radical approach to many of the issues and questions we all face in our lives. This week's theme is chattering. Upcoming themes are depression and anxiety, choice, and matter. This is a podcast from Krishnamurti Foundation Trust, based at Brockwood Park in the UK, which is also home to the Krishnamurti Centre. The centre offers a variety of group retreats from February to December, including for young adults. The atmosphere is one of openness and friendliness, with a sense of freedom to inquire with others and alone. Please visit krishnamurticentre.org.uk for more information. You can also find our regular quotes and videos on Instagram, TikTok and Facebook at Krishnamurti Foundation Trust. If you enjoy the podcast, please leave a review or rating on your podcast app. This helps our visibility. This week's episode on chattering has 5 sections. This first extract is from the 4th question and answer meeting in Ojai 1980 and is titled, Why Does the Mind Chatter?
Why is my mind chattering? So restless. You follow? You don't ask such a question. Have you ever asked that question to yourself? Why are you so restless, especially in this country? The mind so chattering, restless, moving, you're going from one thing to another. Constant entertainment, right? Why is your mind chattering? And what will you do about it? Right? Your immediate response, is to control it, right? Say, I must not chatter, which means what? The very controller is chattering. I don't know if you see that. Do you see that? There's a controller who says, I mustn't chatter. Is in itself part of chattering. I see the beauty of it. So what will you do? Also, if you look, if you observe it, if you say, look, my mind is chattering. And I can examine the causes of chattering. Because chattering is part of the mind being occupied, right? I don't know if you have noticed. The mind, the whole structured brain, must be occupied with something. right? With sex, with problems, with television, with going to football, going to church. It must be occupied. Right? Why? Why must it be occupied? If it is not occupied, aren't you rather uncertain? Don't you fear not being occupied? You follow it? You feel empty. Don't you? No? You feel lost. You feel, then you begin to realize what you are, that there is tremendous loneliness inside. Right? And so, to avoid that deep loneliness, with all its agony, the mind occupied about everything else except that. And then that becomes the occupation. You follow? If I'm not occupied with all the outward things like cooking, washing up, cleaning the house, and so on, then it says, I'm lonely, that's my concern. You follow? How am I to get over it? Let me talk about it, how miserable I am. Back to chattering. But if you say, why is the mind chattering? Ask the question, so go on with me. Why is your mind chattering? Never a moment it is quiet. You understand? Never a moment when there is complete freedom from any problem. Right? So, again, is that occupation the result of our education? Of the social nature of our life? Those are all excuses, obviously. But when one says, when one realizes, if one does, your mind is chattering, and look at it, you follow? Wait with it, stay with it. I don't know if I'm explaining. My mind is chattering. All right, I watch it. I say, all right, chatter. I'm attending to it, you follow? I wonder if you understand this. I'm attending, which means I'm not trying not to chatter. I'm not saying I must not suppress it or anything. I'm just attending to chattering. If you do, you will see what happens. Then your mind is so clear, free of all this. And probably that's the state of normal, healthy human being.
The second extract is from Krishnamurti's fifth talk in Ojai 1978 and is titled, Chattering Takes Up Space.
And also, you have to go into the question of space. Not the scientific romance of space, but actually, in our minds, is there space at all? You understand my question? Or it is so occupied, so cluttered up, so full of knowledge, experience, wanting, not, you follow? Occupied. When the mind is so completely occupied, there is no space. Right? The problem then is, can occupation end? You know, being occupied. When the mind has leisure, then it's not occupied. You know, the word school comes from the word leisure. You can only learn when you have leisure. Right? You cannot learn when your mind is fully occupied. It's cluttered up like a disordered cupboard in which you put everything. Then it cannot take in. It's full. So, it is only when there is leisure, that when there is no occupation, when the mind is not occupied, then you have leisure. Then you can learn. That is, our minds are occupied with God, with mischief, with sex, with money, with God knows what. Huh? You know it all. Better than I do. It's occupied, and therefore there is no space at all. And you must have space to see, right? If you are too close, you can't see. There must be space, a distance, a hiatus. Now in our minds, there is none of that. Because the mind is filled with the movement of this center. Mind is filled with the movement of time. I will be, I must be, this must not be, I wish it were. Time, thought. Then the question arises, is it possible to end the movement of chattering? Not through volition, not through will. Then you have divided this chattering into the will, which is controlling the chattering. Part of the chattering is also the will. I wonder if you understand this. And without any sense of pressure to observe the chattering, and let the chattering tell you all the story it has. And it has very little to tell. I don't know if you observed yourself. When you observe it and listen to the story of the chattering is telling, it's so trivial. It's not superficial, nothing at all to it. But if you exercise pressure on it, it becomes active. It becomes deeper and deeper and deeper. At least you think it is deep. I wonder if you get all this. So, we are asking, is there a way of living without chattering? Having space not created by thought, you know, science fiction space, but space which is rather the ending of occupation. Right? One is occupied with so many things. One is occupied with meditation. When you practice meditation, you are occupied, right? And therefore you have no space. Oh, I wish you would see all this.
The third extract is from the first question and answer meeting at Brockwood Park in 1983 and is titled Ending the Habit of Chattering.
I have a habit, smoking, or scratching my head, keeping my mouth open, habit thinking the same thing over and over and over again, or habit of chattering. Let's take chattering. I'm not only chattering with myself, but also I'm endlessly talking with others. Right? The other day, somebody came to see me for an interview. I don't give interviews anymore, but she insisted, she came. The moment she entered, please, there's none of you here. She began to talk. And when she left, I'm glad to have met you. We all chatter endlessly. Not only with tongue goes back and forth, but also chatter inwardly. That's become an extraordinary habit for most people. They can never be quiet. They could be silent. Silence in the sense the brain completely still. But that's a different matter, we'll go into it later. So this habit of chattering, how do I stop it? First of all, who is to stop it? Another chatterer? Who says, I must stop this chattering, but I'll have my own chattering. You understand? So who is to stop chattering? Fear? Seeing that's a wastage of energy, chattering. Then will you stop that? So we have to ask a question which is much more serious. Is there an entity outside of you or inside of you that will act as a brake upon chattering? That will say, no, I will not chatter. Is it, please listen carefully, is it another will? Is it will? The decision not to chatter. And if it is will, what is will? Chatterer. The quintessence of desire, right? So, how do you stop a habit of chattering? First of all, if you stop it through will, through desire, that creates another conflict, doesn't it? And to stop chattering without conflict. You understand my question? Is that possible? I chatter. First of all, I'm not aware I'm chattering. you point it out to me. I say, old chap, do stop chattering so much. And I get rather hurt by it. But if I go beyond that, I say, now, how am I, in what manner am I to stop it? Then I've got the orthodox means of will, right? Or taking a drug that will quieten me down. And having been quieted down, I take another drug to keep me awake, and I keep on that routine. So I want to find out how to stop a habit, like chattering, keeping mouth open, scratching yourself, all kinds of things, without any kind of effort. You understand my question? This is an important question. To do something without effort. I wish you could. Does it amuse? Fun. Will you do this? Find out your particular habit, aware of it, and say, now, can it be ended without any action of will, decision, compulsion, or reward? You understand? Reward and punishment are the two elements we live on. So can I break that habit without any side effects? Right? Can we go into this? I'll go into it. First of all, am I aware of my habits? Not that you pointed to me and then I realize it. But am I aware of my habits? Without somebody telling me of my habits. You understand? See the difference. If you tell me my habit, then I either resist it or say, yes, I must stop it. But if I see it for myself, I'm a step ahead, right? If I can so put it. Right? Now, are we aware of our particular habit? Chattering, we took that. Now, what does that awareness mean? Awareness means to look at something without any reaction, right? Without any choice. I am aware that I am chattering, that's first. Then to be aware, to watch it without any condemnation, justification, or explanation. Just watch it. Will you do that? So that the old reactions don't come in. The old tradition doesn't come in and say, well, I must stop it, I must do this, I must do that. So to watch the chattering very carefully. To watch it means without any reaction of past memories. This becomes very difficult. You understand? If I watch that tree in movement in the wind, it's a beautiful thing. And I don't like wind, therefore I won't watch it. Similarly, in a certain way, I can watch my chattering. The watcher is not different from chattering, right? So the watcher is not the structure of words memories, he's just watching. You understand that? And please, this is rather complex and requires a great deal of inquiry. We watch things with our prejudices, with our opinions, with our memories, the whole structure of words, right? We watch everything that way. Now, can you watch without all that memory structure? That's where the art comes in, the art of watching. Now I watch, there's a watching of my chattering. I'm aware, and in that awareness I'm not seeking a reward or punishment, I'm just watching. Which means what? I am giving complete attention at that moment, right? Right, sir? At that second, I am all my energy, all my capacity and attention is there. Which means when there is complete attention, complete, not attention brought about through any form of desire, through any form of reward or punishment, just complete attention, then that habit has no place. You understand? Do it, please. Try it once. Now, you will say, yes, that's for the moment it is possible. I can see that can end. If I give our complete attention to something, there's an ending to it. But it comes back. Right? Are you following me? It comes back. The Saturn comes back. Then what's your reaction? I did it once, gave complete attention, and it seems to subside for the second. Now if I give same attention, it will subside again. So you have become mechanical. I wonder if you see this. Do you understand this? I gave attention, complete attention, to my chattering. That flame of the attention wiped away for a few minutes chattering. I've seen the thing works. Then, next moment or next hour, whatever period of time, you begin to chatter, and suddenly you catch yourself saying, I must pay attention. So, again, you repeat again it disappears. So gradually what you are learning is paying attention, which means you are not attending. I wonder, is that very concrete? Have you understood what I am saying? If you are constantly reminding yourself to attend, it's not attention. If you give your complete attention, which means there is no wastage of energy, then the thing goes away. So your concern is not attention, but wasting energy. You follow? We waste energy in 1,000 ways. Chattering is one of the ways. So, all right, I don't pay attention anymore about chattering, but I'm going to see how I waste my energy. Right? I'm going to pursue that. I'm going to watch, learn, see where I'm wasting energy. Oh, there's so many ways, right? So my mind is now not becoming mechanical by the repetition that I must attain, but is moving, right? All the time picking up new things. I wonder if you see all this. So that the brain becomes extraordinarily alert. And when it is so alert, habits have no place.
The fourth extract is from Krishnamurti's fourth talk at Brockwood Park in 1979 and is titled, You and the Chattering Mind Are One.
The mind that is everlastingly chattering. Such a mind is not quiet mind, right? Then the problem arises, how am I to stop chattering? You understand? Listen to that very carefully. You realize your mind is chattering, then you say, how am I to stop it? Moment you have put the question, you're already entered into the time element. I wonder if you see that. Yes? So the how means time. And because you ask the how, the other fellow invents the system, invents the method, the practice. Put on yellow robe, blue robe, whatever it is. So, see the mind chattering, and you are not different from that chattering. Your mind is chattering, and your mind is you. So when you have that principle, that actual truth that you and the problem are one, you and the chattering of one, then all your effort to change it comes to an end. Then you are facing the fact that your mind is chattering, that you are chattering. So when you so observe what takes place, in that observation, you have brought all your energy to observe, which that energy has been dissipated by saying, how am I to stop it? You understand this? I wonder if you understand this. Can we go on? So the problem is, can the mind, that is the mind being the senses, the feelings, the reactions, the emotions, the intellect, all that is the mind, right? Can that mind, including the brain, can that mind be absolutely quiet? You understand my question? Because that is part of meditation. To bring about, as people try to do, to bring about through various systems, methods, controls, and so on, so the mind is absolutely quiet. Because it's only when the mind is quiet completely that you can hear, right? That you can see. So the various forms of meditation the Tibetan, Hindu, the nonsensical TM meditation, transcendental meditation. They have nice words spoiled, isn't it? Transcendental is ruined by this cheap nonsense. All these various forms of meditation have tried through control, through relaxation, through self-hypnosis, by repetition, to bring about quiet mind. Which means, listen to it, which means allowing time to bring this. You understand? One's mind is not quiet now, but I will practice, I will control, I will be aware, and through time it will come about. Right? But when there is the understanding, when there is understanding of the truth, that time is illusory, you can't change it. Time will not change. You understand? Then you are faced with the fact that your mind is chattering. When you are observing a fact completely, with all your energy, the fact changes. I wonder if you will see, if you do it, you will see it. Because you have brought your energy into the observation, and that energy has been dissipated when you are trying to change what is. Look, I'll show you something. Which is, human beings are violent, right? For various reasons we won't go into for the moment. And human beings have invented non-violence, right? The non-violence is a non-fact. Are you following this? The fact is violence. But when you try to pursue non-violence, you are pursuing a non-fact and also allowing time. And when you realize time does not bring about change, then you are faced with fact, which is violence. Not how to change it. There is this fact of violence. Now, can the mind observe this fact of violence without any direction, without any pressure, just to observe it? You understand? Observe it. In that observation, the mind has pulled together all its energy. Right? So, that energy is like light, focused on the thing called violence. And that violence dissipates. Don't go to sleep, please. So, in meditation, which is to bring about a mind that is absolutely quiet, any form of effort is futile, right? I wonder if you understand this. To make an effort to meditate, which means time, which means struggle, which means achieving something which you have projected. So can there be an observation without effort, without control? Please listen carefully. I'm using the word control with a great deal of hesitation because we live in a permissive society. Right? And one does what one likes. The more idiotic, the better. Drugs, sex, putting on clothes that are so meaningless. You follow? The sloppiness of it all. And the speaker using the word control in this sense, when there is pure observation, there is no need to control. Don't deceive yourself by saying, I'm observing purely, therefore I have no control, and indulge yourself, which becomes nonsensical. So it's unless you hear carefully, that a mind that is under control, that control brought about by thought, that thought being limited, and out of its limitation it is desiring something, and therefore it says, I must control. Such a mind has become slave to an idea. You understand? Not to a fact, to a concept, to a conclusion. Like those religious people who believe very strongly about something or other. So they're incapable of talking or anything else, thinking freely. The speaker was once traveling in India in a train. There was a European, an Englishman in fact, and very learned Indian in the same compartment. The Englishman was telling the Indian that their religion was all nonsense, stupid, went on at it for some time. And the Indian said, politely, he said, but you also have your beliefs, don't you? You believe in Christ and Virgin Mary. Oh, he said, that's a fact. That's the end of the conversation. And most of us are that way. So, we are saying a mind that is in conflict, either brought about through control, through will, which is desire, a mind that has problems, a mind that has not resolved a relationship, and therefore no love, such a mind is incapable of going beyond. You understand? It can only go what it thinks beyond within its own circle. And it might invent that's going beyond, but it's not. Right? So, if we are serious, if we have come to this point, that the mind, all the senses, the brain, and all the things that man has been caught in are put aside, because when there is this tremendous sense of love with its intelligence, then we can proceed to find out, right? That means a mind that is quiet, not only physically quiet, you understand, but the quietness is not necessarily sitting in a certain position. You can lie down, do what you like, but the body must be absolutely quiet, right? Uncontrolled, because then you impose and there's conflict. And the mind being free and therefore absolutely quiet, can observe. It is not I am observing, understand? Then if there is I observing, there is duality, there is separation. But there is only observation without the I. You know, I wonder if you see all this. The I is made up of many things. Past remembrances, past experiences, past problems, present problems, anxiety. The I, that's me, that's you. If we have gone that far, the I is now absent. You understand? It's not I who is observing, but there is only observation.
The final extract in this episode is from the 6th talk in Ojai 1976 and is titled The Non-Chattering Silent Mind.
Morality in essence is order. And without order, how can there be clarity? Right? Because part of this is the question of meditation. Without order in one's life, without being totally moral in one's daily activity, how can you even think of meditating? You understand? You may sit cross-legged for the rest of your life. Breathe in a certain way, which you have learned from that country, from India. You can sit like that for the next 10 incarnations or million incarnations. You will never come upon that which is truth, because your life is disorderly. Therefore, you must bring order into that life before you even think of meditating. If you do without having order, it's a marvelous escape, and therefore without any significance, without any meaning. Please do realize this. Meditation is the most marvelous thing, but not your kind of meditation. There must be order in our relationship. There must be order, and that can only exist when there is no fear. And order is not put together by thought. If it is put together by thought, then it will create further disorder. Please understand all this. It's your life. So, to find out or come upon that which is most sacred, most holy, there must be a life which is based solidly on order. And the importance of all meditations is to come upon that silence. Because biologically, physiologically, To see anything clearly, to look at these trees, the light on the leaves and the green grass on the hills, to see it clearly, your mind must be quiet, mustn't it? It is so simple. We make it so complex. To see anything clearly, to observe clearly, you must have a quiet mind. Mustn't you? If you are chattering, you won't see the tree. You won't see the depth of the shadow. The beauty of a trunk or a limb. So we can only see it when your mind is quiet. Right? See the fact of the reason of it, the logic of it first. That you can see something clearly only when your mind is silent. Or when you cannot hear what somebody else is saying if you are talking to yourself all the time. So if you want to hear somebody clearly, you must be quiet. So silence is absolutely necessary to perceive outwardly and inwardly. Right? And the outward and the inward are the same movement. They are not different. Right? It's one unitary movement. But we have divided it as the inward and the outer. So by observing clearly the outer, you then discover the inner. And then see that it is one movement. And to see this clearly, you must look, observe silently. There are different forms of silence. We are investigating together the meaning of the word and the depth of that thing called religion, which is to find out if there is anything incorruptible, untouched by thought, which is not an illusion, which is not the projection of one's own desire, or an experience, but something that has never been touched by thought, something totally original. And to come upon that, we said there must be order in daily life. Which is the essence of virtue. Right? There are different kinds of silence, aren't there? The silence between two noises. Right? And is that silence? There is silence between two thoughts. Is that silence? There is so-called peace between two wars. Is that peace? You're following all this? So what is silence? Is it put together by thought? Is it contrived? Is it something that's manufactured? Because you understand, if one wants to see heaven, in quotes, you must be silent. Therefore you say, how am I to be silent? Teach me how to be silent. So out of that desire to find out what is silence, people then begin to invent systems, methods, ways to come upon that. Now, if once you understand this, you will never touch any system. Because what is implied in a system and a practice? Repetition. Practice, 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 control. Make an effort. Which is become mechanical. Our minds, as we went into the other day, part of our brain has become mechanical. We said thought, in its essence, is mechanical. Because thought is the repetition or the reaction of memory. And when you have already lived a life which is mechanical, and try to go beyond that mechanical life by introducing another mechanical process, which is systems, methods, practices, you are still mechanical. So when once you see the truth of this, the logic, the reason of this, you will never touch systems, methods, practices. So, anything that is contrived, put together by thought, however beautiful, however logic, however ancient, traditional, makes the mind more mechanical and eventually dull. So can one see the truth of it and reject, not rather, the very seeing of the truth of it ends the demand for systems, for methods. How am I to achieve? I hope you're following all this. So we're asking, what is silence? If it is not put together by thought, then what is silence? You understand my question? Because we said only when there is silence, when there is no noise, you can hear properly. When you observe, in observation, silence is necessary. When you are looking under a microscope, you must look silently, discover what there is. In the same way, to see clearly, you must be silent. To hear clearly, your mind mustn't be chattering. If you see the truth of it, then it happens. You don't have to make an effort to be silent.